Hey guys, this is Kristen with the Hiss'n Kitten Waxing Center. I'm going to talk to you about tweezers today. Now, before I jump in, if any of y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment down below, like, subscribe. Also, if you are either a licensed esthetician or cosmetologist or currently in SC or Cosmo school and you're on Facebook and like to join groups, then feel free to join Wax Club. It is for professionals only, but it is a really great group of people who are super helpful in giving tips and tricks to one another. So if you are interested, then feel free to join. Now, tweezers. Okay, so there's a couple different types of tweezers and I use them in different instances. I'm going to explain all of that to you. So the classic tweezer that I use with pretty much every service that I have, there's always one random hair that is just not having it. I'm going to use these tweezers like this. So I have been using a company called Tweezerman for a long time. They have never steered me wrong. They are quality tweezers. I probably had these tweezers for, oh my gosh, I don't know, like 8 years or so. I've had them for a long time, but they're amazing. And they are super high quality. So with these tweezers, you will see the end right here is slightly slanted. So it's got a flat end that has a slant on it. Hopefully y'all can kind of see that. There you go. It's a little easier there. So these are like the classic tweezers. I use these, like I said, for pretty much everything, especially for eyebrows, for Brazilian, if there's like a little, pesky hair that is just not going to come out, for underarms, for legs, randomly for like an ankle or something like that. I'll use these tweezers. These are amazing. You absolutely need to have a pair of like the classic tweezers like this. These are amazing. Okay, next, these two, I'm going to show you two. These are going to be similar, but they're also different. So we have this one also by Tweezerman. So this one has, let's see if I can get my camera to focus on the tweezer and not my face. This one has a slightly, it's a pointy tip, but it's slightly, curved? That's the word I'm looking for. Couldn't think of the word. It's slightly curved. Hopefully you can see it. There we go. So these tweezers are amazing. These are my second favorite tweezers. I will use tweezers like these with that pointy edge where it's just slightly curved at the end, especially for things like ingrown hairs. You can very gently and easily just kind of like poke underneath. So I'm talking about like ingrown hair where you can see the hair through the skin. Like there's just a very thin layer of skin over that hair. You tend to see these a lot with leg waxes because people will say they're exfoliating and maybe they are, but clearly not enough or very much, because you can like tell, I've seen people where it looks like I should be able to wax off all their leg hair, no problem. But then you look closer and you see a lot of it is just like those little hairs and then a thin layer of skin over the hair. So you actually can't wax it because there's skin over it, which is so frustrating. But these tweezers are amazing for getting those little hairs that are just, just a little bit under the skin. And I tend to like the ones with the slightly curved edge because for whatever reason, it doesn't tend, like you can't feel it as much, if that makes sense. So these are the other tweezers that I will use. These are very similar to, my black ones that I've got right here, but they are pointy and they just have a straight pointy edge. So they are not curved at all compared to, I can use both of these, which have it just a very slight curved edge. This one, the tip is also just a little bit thinner. This one is a little bit thicker. So when I tend to be able to feel this more when trying to free an ingrown hair compared to this one. This one tends to just, it feels a lot more comfortable. It's just a lot more unnoticeable for the client. And I know this just because I've tested it on myself over and over again. So I will use these especially if sometimes if the hair might be a little harder to get. So like I might start getting an ingrown with this, but say it's a little bit deeper in the skin. So it's not just right on the surface where I can see the hair, but I can see a dark mark under the skin, but it's not just under one layer. Say it's under like 2 layers of skin. So I might, start by getting it with this, and then I will start using these to help grip the hair more once I catch it. Because if you're not careful with these, you can free the hair really easily, but you might break it because the tip is so thin. These, because it's a little bit thicker, it's easier to grab the hair and make sure that you're not actually going to break the hair. Especially hair that's been waxed, it grows back in thinner, so it can be more fragile. And we don't want to break the hair because that's just going to continue to keep that ingrown hair under the skin. We want to free it. Again, these are for professionals only. I do not recommend anyone at home trying this on yourself because you can very easily scar your skin. We don't want to do that. So you want to leave this to professionals. But for pros, I definitely recommend having these 3 types of tweezers: the ones that are slanted, the ones that are thin and then have a slight curved edge, and then the ones that are pointy and have no curved edge. I also tend to like these for things like if you have, like a little hair on your bikini line. Like you said, you want to be really careful with skin right there. So I tend to grab these. I've had people where there's just like one hair that I cannot get out of like the inside of their nostril, where it's just on the inside, and I'm like really trying to grab it. And I don't want to put this in their nostril, especially if they have like small nostrils. So I have used these before because they're thin and because they're curved. I'm not gonna stab them, if that makes sense. It's just a little bit safer. So those are my recommendations for tweezers. I also always recommend at least have 2 of each kind, because in between clients, you need to allow your tweezers to be disinfected. So I'll put them in Barbasol, which, here, I'm gonna grab one where you can see it better, which is a bottle like this. So I'll just disinfect them in here, and you need them to disinfect for at least 15 minutes. So if you only have, say, 1 pair of tweezers, it's not going to be enough time for you to put the tweezers in your Barbasol to disinfect, or whatever you're using to disinfect them, and then have to potentially reuse them again. So if you have at least 2 of each, then you'll be safe. A lot of these come in different colors. Like you can see, I have a pink one, I've got a red one, and I've got a black one, but they come in all kinds of colors. There's all kinds of brands. This is just the brand that I've been using for a long time, but I also recommend getting different colors. That way you know which one you grabbed on your last client, so you don't happen to grab the same one, because if they're all the same colors, you're never gonna know. So I hope this helps. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.